Today's November 9th. It's MLB Award Week. Skenes up for a Cy Young on Wednesday. Fall League, roster moves, and more. We've got a lot to talk about. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. Joining me today in the seat of Jake, I guess, is my friend Gary Morgan. Locked on Pirates, Pirates Fan Forum, all the things you guys know him. What's up, Gary?
What's up, Josh? Returning the favor, my friend.
I know, we were talking about it. It's been a long time since we've been able to do something together. Here we are, just a couple weeks apart.
At some point, Jake's gonna quit ducking me. That's all I'm gonna say.
I know. That is an interesting thing, because it's always like, I need somebody to come on because he's not going to be on, and then he's never on when we have somebody on.
It's funny because I probably run into him at the ballpark naturally more than you, which it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
No, but yeah, off-season Pirates baseball. A lot of a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's early to be panicking about what is or isn't happening yet, but yeah, nothing unexpected yet so far.
Yep. Chat's going, Martin. Yes, the AFL All-Star Game, or the Fall Star Game, is tonight. Esmeralyn Valdez in the lineup. Yeah, there's a lot of things we could get into. I mean, there's roster moves, there's things we could go. There's obviously MLB Awards Week this week, spring training, Pirates Fest, Luis Ortiz in trouble.
Yeah.
And then obviously Arizona Fall League and everything else. So we can get into this stuff. Chat, keep it going. Love the chat. Let's start with the awards week, because this is probably the most exciting thing that we could talk about, yet maybe one of the easiest things we could talk about too.
Yeah. There's not much suspense left, really, is there?
I don't think so. Paul Skenes, Wednesday, they announced the Cy Young, 7 p.m. and he's up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. The votes were in before he did what he did in the World Series. And Christopher Sanchez, who's actually probably the second most deserving in the list. I think the only question is whether it's unanimous or not.
Yeah, I don't see this as much of a conversation. I mean, as you know, I do the 5-day-a-week show. I haven't felt the need to bring it up once. I mean, you would think that's what I would have led with most of the off season, but it's the worst kept secret in the game that he's going to win the Cy Young. Everybody knows he is.
Yeah. And probably Scooble on the other side as well.
Can't see that being controversial either. Yeah. Two pretty far and away winners. I mean, really. And the only reason that I think anybody has a squeamish stomach at all is the win-loss record. And that's just a holdover. You know, I mean, I think mostly everybody else has let go of that, but I can see voters still being a little squeamish. You got guys that are voting that, you know, they still remember a time when it'd be ridiculous to vote for somebody that didn't get, 15 wins or so. I mean,
yeah,
20 used to be the gold standard. You got 20 wins, you were in that conversation.
Right. And I've said it on here a lot. I think as you talk about the accumulation of the wins, I think that's a big deal. I think wins are obviously more important than losses because of the way you can get a loss and it not really, and you still would have pitched well. And so when it comes to that kind of stuff, I mean, you accumulate wins. I mean, it's just like Yamamoto getting 3 wins in the World Series is incredible, right?
Right.
And that's, it's just because it's an accumulation of it.
I think we should be having a conversation about reclassifying how wins are handed out in Major League Baseball. I really do. And I don't think we can do that here because it would be most of the show. But in all sincerity, it's time to rethink it.
Yeah.
Pitchers are going 5 innings now. It's quality starts aren't what they used to be. Like, I even when I was a kid, a starter like leaving after the 5th inning would have been very disappointing as far as an outing goes. I don't really care how many pitches they threw.
Well, we're on the internet right now, so I'll tell you that when we're not being recorded on the internet, I have a solution. I'm just not ready to let it go yet.
I probably have one too. I'm just more willing to brainstorm publicly. That's all.
I just need it in the right hands because I think it has legs. Anyway.
Nice.
I'll share it with you. Yeah, I don't know if if you're interested in any of the other awards this week. I mean, there's obviously the Judge Raleigh AL MVP is really interesting to me. MVP always is, but I'm really interested to see how that goes. And the rest of them,
depends on if you get bonus points for things that are unusual.
Right.
Being a switch hitter, being a catcher that actually catches a lot too, not a guy that like
that's right.
that DH'd a whole heck of a lot. He really, I think the oddity and the extra complexity of playing that position should add something to it. And I don't think it's fair if you're voting 1-to-1, Judge versus Big Dumper, but you have to know if you're a voter, one of them's going to probably have this opportunity again, and one of them isn't 100% to have this opportunity again. I think I'd go with Cal Raleigh if I was voting, if only because I think it was extra difficult what he did. I really do. And did something that, no switch hitters ever done before. I mean, when things like that start coming up, never done before, man, that's special. And I can certainly say neither of those teams are in the playoffs without either of them. So that's a draw.
Right, exactly. And, it's interesting because he obviously set 2 home run records, one for switch hitters, one for catchers.
Yep.
Now, maybe this is just me personally, but like I actually put the catcher one above the switch hitter one for me. I think it's more impressive. And I guess only because like switch hitters can play any position, but like the fact that the old record was 48 by Salvi and he shattered it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, man. I think that there is something to significance of what you've done and the significance of a catcher and a switch hitter and everything doing that throughout a full season and still, like you said, catching a lot. He led the league in a couple. The third record, I think, Bucko Mike is the Mariners team record. So yeah, you got it. So I mean, that one to me doesn't play in MVP race. It's a team record. So I don't really, I can't really go there for that one.
I don't think it matters either. I will say, Aaron Judge is not just a one-trick pony.
No.
The home runs are one thing that he does, but the average is up there too. I mean, there is no angle of attack to knock the legs out from Aaron Judge. What he is, truly one of the best players in the game. So I think side by side, it was just a numerical comparison. I take all other factors aside, it's Aaron Judge.
I agree.
I add in the complexity of playing catcher and just the interest of setting the records. Like, I go with Cal Raleigh. I think it's going to be Judge. I just think there's too many voters. They're going to have an impossible time passing on the 300 average along with the power numbers.
Right.
And it is impressive.
Yeah.
Any other year, you're probably not having this conversation.
Yeah. And I think that, I would be curious if there is some sort of, it happens a lot, specifically in sports today, but some Aaron Judge fatigue, some superstar fatigue. Oh, well, he's got a few of them, so let's get this other guy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Where,
I think you get that with Shohei too.
sure, yeah,
But it's funny we don't get it with Gold Gloves. Gold
right,
Gloves get passed down like, you know,
yeah,
after some guy like really falls off, you know, and then you suddenly can let somebody new win a Gold Glove. Like now it's Brian Hayes to lose
right, yep,
until he does, right?
yeah. I don't know. I'm interested. Even the rookie of the year, a couple different A's. I'm hoping for Jacob Wilson, but like for the rest of it, I'm interested to see it all. I like that kind of stuff.
Going to be real hard to take Kurtz out. I think
I think
Kurtz
so too.
wins, yeah. But
Yeah,
Jacob Wilson had it until they called up Kurtz early. If they had waited a little while,
true,
but yeah.
true. All right, so well, yeah, let's say there's been a couple things in the chat about it. Luis Ortiz in some trouble. Him and Clase in some big trouble. Luis Ortiz has been arrested.
Yeah.
And basically, if you were wondering if the Pirates were going to be involved, Luis Ortiz's incidents all started this year. And not only did they start this year, they were facilitated by Clase. This is really the term 65 years in prison has been thrown around. And I wonder if that might be something that's maybe a little more real for Clase than for Ortiz. Not saying that I'm not trying to make him less guilty, but
I mean, as with many legal issues with these sports, I tend to try to back off until all the information comes in, and that includes judging them because I've seen already some people pull up the numbers that Luis Ortiz made doing this
yeah,
versus the numbers that he made playing. And all I'm going to say is I don't think that you 100% know everything that kid is owing to who. And for all I know, this string of malfeasance goes all the way back to the islands. Like there could be a connection back there that's really getting paid from whoever's setting up the rings up here and whatnot. And I would
sure.
just wait to get all the information. It doesn't make what he did right. I'm not sitting here saying like, oh boy, you can
Yeah.
expect the lifetime bans to come for sure. And what a shame. What a shame because
If you're
I mean,
talking 65 years, I don't think a lifetime ban even really matters.
no, but they're not going to get 65 years
No, they're
either.
not.
I mean, like, there's just, and I would even the NBA one. I think there's even some ways to wonder if like the guy who's gotten the most attention for actually doing things in games was truly as guilty as they're claiming. I think he's got a pretty good case to get out of it too. So again, I'd like wait to see what happens, but I didn't care about the Pirates angle on this story at all because he was gone so
Sure.
long that I cared about it almost as much as I did to Capita Marcano. I just didn't care about it. They've gotten lucky to move a couple guys. I wouldn't be surprised if every single team has something going on.
Mm.
There's the gambling's too prevalent. And I
Yeah.
don't mean like from people like me selling it to you 30 seconds a day or every NFL show like talking about it,
Yeah.
sponsoring. ESPN was talking about that NBA thing with the crawler at the bottom, like selling ads for it. I don't, believe it or not, think that that's an excuse for players to start doing it.
Mm-mm.
I really don't. I just think it's a lot harder to stop that kind of crime. It's way too accessible, way too. You used to have to go to Vegas to do stuff or have
Sure.
a bookie.
Right.
Now you got a billion of these services and just you do internet security, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you know how hard it is to keep algorithms right and keep spam emails out, even. Like, you're not going to keep corruption from seeping in if you allow cracks in the armor. And you can't watch these guys 24/7. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it is. And obviously you hurt for a guy like, or hurt for, you're bummed out about a
I'm bummed
guy
out.
like
I'm bummed.
Class A who was just so good and man, really threw it away. You know what I mean? And that's, yeah, it
But it
sucks.
makes you question everything that you watch.
Sometimes I don't like that.
I don't want to. I don't like it at all.
Right.
But I'm saying like that. This is why it's dangerous. The people that are there, because there are people that are taking this stuff like, you can advertise it. Why can't they? Well, because, dummy, everything that you watch, you would question then. Why did he go out of bounds there? Why did he let that ball just crawl down the third base line instead of picking it up?
Oh, yeah.
Like
he must have money on the game. Yeah.
You can ask a question about why did he step off there? Are you serious? Communication problems with the pitch comm again in the middle of the third inning? Like, it could be anything. These prop bets are the problem. You got to go through these systems and get rid of these dumb prop bets.
Yeah.
Because you can't police that stuff. You can't.
Right. And if you don't know, like that's where this stems from, right? These types of bets, what they were doing was throwing a ball to start their outing or throwing a ball against a certain batter. And that's all it was. Like, it wasn't that they weren't still competing or anything like that. They were just literally fixing a bet, which is, all sorts of, like, even if they're not even betting, it's so that's the problem with the legality of this, right? Marcano's banned from baseball, but he's not getting arrested and spending, up to 65 years in prison or 20 years in prison or anything. Like, he just did what we could do, at least to my knowledge. But these guys are doing something on an entirely different level, and it's just unfortunate.
It is, but all these leagues, I think you're going to see these come up in other. We already have sporadically, but I think you're going to see like one big hammer job like this.
Yeah,
just like we saw in the NBA, saw one in the MLB. I think we'll see one in the NFL. I don't know if we'll see one in the NHL. Different culture, but I think you'll see a big scandal come up because they all want to make sure that everyone knows that integrity is at 180%. Right? You shouldn't be questioning that referee's call. No way. How dare you get upset that he didn't call holding there? It has nothing to do with gambling. What are you even questioning?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's where this goes.
For sure.
It's the biggest story in sports that nobody can actually put a bow on. Because again, it's so ingrained.
Right.
It's like fighting off the pharmaceutical companies at this point. You can't do it. They're ingrained in everything.
And obviously, by which the money flows.
Truth.
All right, so let's get into better things then.
We can try.
Well, no, we will. We're going to go to the Arizona Fall League now.
Oh.
Yes, things. We will go into better things. Arizona Fall League Fall Stars game tonight, 8:00. I'm going to guess most people aren't watching that, but maybe.
I won't. Not live anyway. But, yeah.
Yeah, Esmeralyn Valdez batting cleanup, right field, playing right field for the National League. Super hot start to the fall season he had. I doubt he's being pitched to very much after that first couple weeks there.
He kind of wasn't even when he was doing it. He was like,
he had a ton of walks.
Well, he was either hitting home runs or walking. It was literally one or the other.
Yeah.
OPS was over 2,000.
It's ridiculous. What he was doing, and super, super hot. And so him and Tony Blanco Jr. competed in the home run derby yesterday down there. I had a hard time really understanding what format they were going with. I know there were teams involved and the teams were head to head. It ended up in the end, it was Blanco versus Valdez in the last round. Was that just because their team won?
Well,
or were
they put up 40 home runs between the two of them.
it's
So they
ridiculous.
literally wound up 1 and 2.
Okay, so 1 and 2 would have then gone
Yeah.
in. Okay, so it ended up
I don't
being
have a super great handle on the process either. I know it's a little bit different. I know it's only 90 seconds too.
yeah, and then there was thing about like they got 7 or 9 pitches or outs. There were 7 outs in one of them,
like
and
that.
so then the end was like 97 or 90 seconds or whatever it was. Tony Blanco really stole the show. I mean the exit velo. We love the exit velo, but when it hits 122.9, we absolutely do love the exit velo. There was a ball that he hit 119.7 that people were saying was the furthest ball they've ever seen hit. Landed on a roof. The way it was written was a nearby roof.
Right.
Like, okay, it's ridiculous. And so to have both of those guys in the end and just absolutely killing the ball is a pretty cool moment when you're talking about Pirates prospects hitting and Pirates prospects with power, which is something that we have not seen a whole lot of.
These are certainly two of them, man. I mean, Tony Blanco, boy, he's an all or nothing prospect. He really is. Like, I don't think he can play a lot of positions. So, like, the bat has to be something special if he's going to make it at all. Because he's a first baseman or a DH. Let's be real.
Right.
Just watch him run first to second. You'll know what I mean.
Right.
And you don't really want him hitting singles. But he's got to do something about the strikeout rate. Just for where he's playing, it's too high. And that's the thing that's going to hold him back or blow him forward, man. Like, we've seen this before. This is Mason Miller.
Yeah. I was thinking of him.
Big country. Like this, even, Gorski to a degree. Like,
yeah.
That big power. It's good. If it comes with a certain level of swing and miss, well, you're in trouble. And in his case, it comes with an extra condition of, I don't know where the hell you play. That's the thing. And I'm not saying that because we have a first baseman at the moment. Sure. I just mean, like, where does he play? He looks like very unathletic to me. Like, when I see him like running around the bases, and even the few times I've seen him field, I do worry about that. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, it feels a lot like O'Neal Cruz in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Now, O'Neal Cruz hit for higher average at the lower levels, right? So it's a little different there. But what we've seen even at this level is just a lot of the swing and miss plus a lot of the huge power and a taller guy. Obviously different frame altogether, but it's just the idea of like, okay, we're getting like you're hitting the ball 120. You're likely to have some swing and miss in your game.
He's Aaron Judge with a dad bod.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for real, that's what has. I mean, he's not going to learn how to play a position at this point. It's just not going to happen. So first base, DH. Can he stop striking out? That's what needs to happen. And this year was the year to find out, because next year he needs protected if he does it. And right. I'm glad to see the power emerge. I think he just made the top 30 at the end of the season, right?
Yeah, I think he is number 30, yep.
And then you got Esmerlin. Nobody had him doing what he did this year. Nobody. I don't care who you follow that you think is the gospel on prospects. Nobody had him doing what he did this year, except for him.
Right.
So to watch him do what he's done, it's been unbelievable. And he's done it against all different levels of competition. I'm excited to see what he does in AAA. I think that's a guy that could have a real impact next year on the Major League Baseball. I think Esmerlin Valdez has a better shot out of this conversation anyway of contributing. I don't think Blanco's even rare.
Right. No, it is further off for Blanco. It's worth saying though, like, with Valdez, you had the once, coming into this season, you're not talking about him. You're not bringing him up. And, whatever he's been able to do, we talked a little bit before the show, just in general, sports in general and things like that. But, and maybe this is a good as time as any to get into that. But what you can do in the off season can change the trajectory of your career, or if you're a team, what you do in the off season can change what that team looks like. On paper, it's going to look one way, but
Yeah.
you could either way. You could get either way. You could get better. You could not. You could get worse. And there's a lot of things around that. And if that's part of Ezreal Valdez's story, then it could be part of Blanco's story as well, or it could be something else entirely. You could say it could be part of O'Neal Cruz's story if you really want to. You know what I mean?
I think it's a little different to see a guy zoom from Bradenton up to Indianapolis than it is to see a guy zoom from Indianapolis from Altoona up to the majors. Like, I think that's a different journey than that first one. Yeah,
Sure.
One's really impressive, and yeah, you flew. And that's what Blanco did this year. And kudos to him. But, at some point you kind of get tired of seeing him just hit home runs. And he didn't play a lot. Health has been an issue with him too. So, I mean, it's impressive what he's done this year. Ezreal too. He moved further than anybody.
Yeah.
All the way from Bradenton, boom, 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 all the way up through the system. He will start in AAA next year. He's got himself a 40-man spot. That probably wasn't going to happen going into this season. That was not expected, but he will get one now. He's got a real shot. Real shot. And like, the thing is, I'd like to see them be open-minded to letting him have it. Because I don't think that you're going to get a whole lot better power options on the free agent market. I would rather him come up to the majors, get his growing pains knocked out, hit home runs up here. Let's give him a short trip in AAA and see what happens. I think he could beat Griffin here.
Wow, really?
As hot as he's hitting right now?
Yeah.
If he comes back into spring training, I could see him a quick trip to AAA. And yeah, absolutely, I could see it.
Well, then the next question would be, if he does get hot in Indianapolis, will they let him ride out an entire hot streak in Indianapolis and then call him up? Do you think that's...
Well, we kept the GM to do that.
That's exactly what he'll do. He'll let him get real hot. He'll let him stay hot. And then as soon as he shows signs of cooling down, let's call him up and sit him on the bench.
Well, for sure. I mean, now, we weren't talking about Lever Peguera, right? We're talking about...
Right. But we will, and, this is the story.
That is what they do. I will say Don Kelly did a little better with that.
Sure.
At least for guys that he liked. And for whatever reason, I never got the impression that he liked Peguera. They called him up 3 times under Don Kelly, and Don Kelly didn't use him any of those 3 times.
Even in the midst of a 3-homer game, still.
Totally. And we're talking like by choice. I mean, that's a manager just making a decision. Like, this guy doesn't play the game the way I want it to be played.
Right.
Kept the guy around, so you're going to let him make decisions like that. I think he made that decision with G1 Bay. Like, that was a very quick reversal of usage. Like, once they started trying to use him, he was like, yeah, no.
Right.
And I think he'll make calls like that more. And if you're going to bring up somebody that's going to help the team, I think he has more of a feel for trying to stick them in there than other people do. That said, I'm confused by what he did with Alexander Canario. Another big power guy that he started out playing for like a month straight and then all of a sudden didn't play him at all. And in lieu of Tommy Pham, who started hitting. But felt like we needed to keep Alexander Canario going too, right? I mean, like, shouldn't we have a better understanding of what we think he is right now? Shouldn't I be able to definitively tell you he's going to get let go or brought back? I can't because I don't know what they saw.
Right. And we don't, man, that one's just still, there's a lot that could be let go.
He's not an expensive choice, Josh, but
right.
honestly, can you decide one way or another?
No.
I can't.
No, and it's going to be up to whatever else they do, right? They're going to stick around until they decide to acquire somebody to move him out of the way. And I mean, the same thing goes for Jack Swinsky. He's going to be there until he's pushed away. Or until
I don't think he
or
will
until
be.
they have to clear waivers.
I don't think he's going to get tendered this year.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean,
I personally wouldn't tender him this year.
I think he's certainly on the list before Canario because of that, but I don't know, man. If they don't acquire anybody, somebody has to play.
Yeah, but you got to make that decision a long time before you didn't acquire anybody. That decision comes up on the 21st of this month. That's long before you've.
Well, no, you could still make an offer at him, and
you got to tender Jack Sawinski one way or another.
Right.
You got to decide. I'm gonna take this guy to arbitration or I'm not. That's what tendering is. And I personally am not doing that. I'm not paying that guy $1 million to do whatever he does in either league.
Right.
And like, that's a free agent. I'm sorry. Someone else is going to have to try to bring it out.
True.
Or bring him back. Because I have real concerns about who plays center field for this team.
Right.
Like, you've got O'Neal Cruz. They're going to give him another shot. Let's not pretend that otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But most errors in baseball last year, you certainly can't feel great about it. And then your backup option is what? Billy Cook, who wasn't good enough to get called up even once last year. Alexander Canario, who I can't decide should be cut or not. And Jack Sawinski, who I'd non-tender. Who else we got? Juan Bay's gone. Who's playing center field? And it should be a right-hander.
Right, absolutely has to be a right-hander.
So you got to find that. Like, is it Connor Griffin? Like, that's why I keep pushing him to center field, because no, there ain't another one. Will Taylor? You know, there's another one that you could ask for another kid to fly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle any of this. I just don't. Martin says York can't play center field.
Absolutely not.
Barely can play left field. Really, I mean, he's an infielder. For what I've seen, he's really good in. Not really. I mean, much better infielder is what I was meaning to say than he is an outfielder. I mean, it's there because he plays outfield because you want the bat in the lineup.
He can play a corner outfield in a pinch.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have an arm, and probably doesn't have the greatest range. But
right.
that you can't play everybody at your ideal spot. So, you know, I get that. I kind of do bristle when we start like acting like York can't play serviceable corner outfield. He can. He could play serviceable corner outfield.
Sure.
You say he's not good because you're an outfielder and you're looking at it like that. You're looking at it like Jim looks at first baseman. You know, like on my show, right?
Jim, yeah, maybe.
Well, for real, Jim's
real. Jim's very critical.
Yeah, like Jim will be like he sees somebody just like look in the wrong direction at first base, and he's got an issue. You know, like so. That's why it's always so impressive that he doesn't complain about Jared Triolo over there, because he hates him everywhere else, but he never complains about him at first base. But yeah, I mean, I just don't see. I just don't see a need to keep what we know is fat. You have to upgrade somewhere, and if you can't even like consider, I'm gonna at least upgrade the depth. Man, what are we doing here?
Right. So a few of the other moves we already brought up, Peguero and Ji-Hwan Bae in this conversation. Jack Little, Peguero, Bay placed on waivers. Little claimed by the Tigers, Bay by the Mets. Peguero goes unclaimed, sent outright, becomes a major league free agent in the process. Michael Darrell Hicks, Dugan Darnell designated for assignment. And then they activated all the guys that were injured. Selected the contract of a would-be free agent, minor league free agent in Ryan Harbin. And then on top of that, they went and signed a minor league lefty, Joe LaSorsa, soft-thrown lefty, one of those typical AAA invite to spring training, see if we can get a good season out of a lefty, and maybe it's something, maybe it's not.
I kind of don't hate LaSorsa. I mean, if you're excited that they just protected that guy that they did the other day, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, Josh. I'll look it up because I don't want you to have to look it up because you always do that for me. The Ryan Harbin.
Yes.
So if you're excited that they protected Ryan Harbin and you think they need to protect Brandon Benoit,
I do on that one.
This guy was drafted in 2019 too. This is the same thing.
Right.
And soft tossing lefty. Okay, well, the Pirates do well with those.
Right.
They know what they're doing when they know what they're looking for with that. The only one they have is Sisk, lefty-wise. Man, pick up as many of these as you want.
100%.
I don't care. Get 10 of them.
Yeah, especially specifically like this, because this is a minor league deal. He's invited to spring training. He's not taking up a spot on your 40-man. If he turns into something that you can bring up at some point and get some valuable innings, it could be his best year of his career. And if you could use that, then absolutely. I mean, this is, some will call dumpster dive. I would say that this is literally what every team does.
Building.
It's
this
depth,
is bullpen building.
100%. This is exactly what you do in the offseason.
This is where bullpens come from. Like when we make a mistake with somebody like Hunter Stratton, that he's been in the system a real long time. We worked our ass off to get him here. We get him here. He looks okay. He pitches for half a season, gets hurt real bad. You try him out. Doesn't work. He's out of options. Screw it. You cut him loose. He goes somewhere else. He'll bounce around 3-4 other teams. He's got good stuff. He'll land in someone's bullpen. He'll become something, even if it's just for a season. Colin Holderman has a shot to do that if the Pirates non-tender him like I would Jack Sawinski. Well, I'm saying at some point that's a dude that's got a real live arm, and someone's gonna figure out if I can just get him to quit trying to throw 6 pitches, he might be all right. That's what's going to happen. That's how bullpens are made, man. Don't get mad about any of these signings, whether you heard of them or not.
And we need, I mean, the bullpen needs addressed as well. And if this is one way to continue to address, I mean, the thing is right now, currently, if you look, there's not relievers in AAA that you would even remotely feel like you would give a chance to. I mean, maybe obviously Brandon Benoit for me is a guy I would protect and say that he is one of those guys. But it's not like there's a bunch of them down there. Eddie Yeen's a free agent now. He would have been a guy that is like, hey, we needed something. You know what I mean?
This Harbin kid will be too.
Harbin is one too. 24 years old. He throws hard. You can do that
But the reason people don't see it as a problem, Josh, is because they see 10 starting pitchers and 5 spots. You're going to have you're going to have Majinski in there. You're going to have Nicholas. You're going to have Nicholas really came on too and turned things around.
Yeah.
One more year, Dennis Santana, a waiver claim himself. And I'm sure they'll try to make Evan Sisk work.
Sure.
But I think Evan Sisk has just as much chance of working out as LaSorsa.
Right.
Like, do you get what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I just don't think it matters that much when you're picking up these depth guys, and we'll see how it plays out. And dude, we used like 50 some guys last year. Like
every
people
year.
People have to know, like, you're going to use a lot of guys that you aren't thinking about. Right?
Yeah. Miles says it's this is the random guy the Buccos pick up and turn into a household fan name. And he doesn't even have to have more than 1 year. I mean, Ryan Baraki had really a good year. and
then he was bad last year and hurt. And
But it's
But
just
somebody will give him a shot again because of that good year.
and that's all you
And they'll
need.
probably give him a shot not unlike what Lasorsa just got.
Sure.
Which, by the way, the Pirates gave him last year. He had a 2-way contract last year. So, yeah. Bullpens they're like this. Amorphous blobs of just undefined edges of what's going to make a good bullpen, and just keep rolling with the punches.
And you do this every year because you hope that just something clicks for that season, for maybe further than that. I mean, we've had several guys like this that.
And importantly, you don't go from year to year expecting the same guys who just clicked last year to click again next year. That's why you never see the same exact bullpen year to year. Like, people don't realize how lucky we were in that run not all that long ago where we had Melanson and Watson. And like, we had a steady 3 or 4 guys, Jared Hughes. That doesn't happen for like strings of years.
No.
Never.
No, that was ridiculous. And they did a great job really of identifying that and acquiring those types of pitchers, because then you move on from Hanrahan and you're like, what are you doing? But you brought in Melanson, which ended up being even better. And then you moved on from Melanson and bring in he that should not be named, and he was really good. And then you know what I mean? The more you keep moving those things, I wish we would have gotten that move it made, because that would have been the next turn. You know what I mean? And that trade didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, and then on the other side, look at what Tanner Scott looked like for the Dodgers this year. It just wasn't, this guy was elite. And he probably will go back to being that way.
He could.
Sure.
He could be like, I mean, honestly, Devin Williams was disappointing for the Yankees. And I mean, he ended up having a decent season by the time it all shook out, but really rough start.
Mm-hmm.
That's a guy I want the Pirates to take a shot at. I want like a Liam Hendricks or a Devin Williams or Finnegan, or I want somebody that has back end experience brought in, because I don't just go, oh, we got Dennis Santana to close, we're set. I want my bullpen fortified. Like that to me is a free agent expense that people aren't thinking about. I want Caleb Ferguson back.
I do too.
I think there's some money to be spent in the free agent realm there that people aren't really considering either.
And it's still, like I said, needs addressed. Cheryl put out here, it seems like they're only focused on pitching. We need hitters. We do, but we also need a bullpen. And so, I mean, you've got to build a full team. And so that's something that, even though we don't see them working on whatever, the hitting side specifically, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't be addressing the bullpen as well. Or more importantly, what you see at this point in the offseason is that they should be addressing depth. And that's what this is.
Especially you get a guy that's willing to sign a contract like that, where there's no pressure.
Right.
It's just an invite. Like, yeah, do it. Why not?
Right.
Like that sort of stuff, like we should be shrugging our shoulders at. And I just would say most normal teams do. So that's all.
So with that, Peguero free agent in the minor leagues, Brennan Malone free agent. That closes the door on the Starling Marte trade.
Yep.
Which Arizona had for, I think, 33 games and then flipped him for a pretty bad return. I mean, they got a relief pitcher, I think, out of it for a couple of years, but that was pretty it. So I think the Marlins made out in the Starling Marte trading. They got Jesus Luzardo from the A's for Starling Marte.
He's gone too.
But yeah, right. But at least he was really good when he was there.
Yeah, I mean, and I hate following trades out for exactly
you can't go that far. You can't.
I guess I don't care a lot about the book being closed on it. I was kind of done with that, with feeling the pain of losing a guy that I think should probably retire if he's smart.
Okay. He'll sign back here though.
I hope not. I hope not.
There's your center fielder, right-handed center fielder.
I hope not. But yeah, Piguero, man. I mean, listen, they made their feelings very clear, and it was the longest, most drawn out death I've seen of a prospect, and I can't even remember how long. And he truthfully just never got the opportunity here that I thought was going to be something we could really put our hat on and say, yeah, this was proven out. We knew it was bad. We knew it was this. We knew, I didn't see that. I saw some power. I saw a guy that wasn't going to stick at shortstop. I thought he took to the outfield pretty well when they challenged him with that this year. I would have liked to have seen a little more of that, considering we have an outfield problem here.
Yeah.
And the guy had a little bit of pop, and we needed both of those things. I guess I just wonder why we just squander all of our opportunities to even see these guys. And if you know already, it felt like this year they knew going into it. They got the extra option year that wasn't expected. Remember, we thought he was going to be gone after spring last year.
Yep.
Why didn't they just let him go?
Sure.
If they weren't going to give him a chance. I see like Douglas Smith in the chat says like Piguero's going to become an embarrassment for the Pirates somewhere else. He's got a lot of work to do before that's the case, because the personality that this kid had was infectious, and everybody in the room loved him, including Don Kelly. He's on tape saying as much, that they need his infectious attitude in that dugout. So this is not a guy that people were like intentionally not giving an opportunity to. There's something there. Okay? There's something there that they've given up on him. I wouldn't be so quick to assume we're going to be embarrassed.
Greg says the Mets are going to turn Bay into a rise with speed. I doubt it.
So he's not going to be able to field worth a crap either?
Well, he already can't. He's already on that path.
I'm just saying, like, if we're going to be like a Roz, then
right.
Let's be completely like a Roz. And Ji-hwan Bae needs to change his own mind about what kind of player he's going to be, if that's ever going to happen. Because
if they talk him into it, I mean, that would be the best. That'd be the best way for him to go.
The worst thing that happened to Ji-hwan Bae is that he developed just enough power that he actually can hit home runs.
Yeah.
Because if he couldn't, then I think maybe he would embrace the kind of game that he could be successful with. But he's not going to.
No, and I think if you were going to believe in a team to do it, the Mets aren't it.
Yeah, the Mets aren't the team that I would think like the Guardians would be able to do something
Dodgers,
with Ji-hwan
to
Bae.
be honest with you.
The Dodgers wouldn't waste time with.
Well, no, but if like Justin Turner, Max Muncy, Kike, Chris Taylor, like they've got a list of these guys that they would get that just couldn't, and they turn them into something. I don't think right now they would, right? But maybe 10 years ago, Dodgers would be able to pick that up. I guess the point I'm making is that they do well with those sort of projects. Unfortunately, if you got that kind of money, you shouldn't be allowed to be good at the baseball aspect of it too.
We'll see what happens with Bae, though. I mean, I worry. I don't worry about Bae as much as Piguero. If you were worried about one of them embarrassing us, but Bae, I mean, again, I just feel like that's somebody that if somebody can get through to him, I think there's a player in there.
I agree. I think with Bae and Piguero, I think there is talent there. There's something there for either of those players. And if they figure it out, good. But you just can't hold on to him and wait for it to happen here.
The reality is Piguero is going to be somebody's Alexander Canario this year. And if they're blessed, they'll treat him as much like a Rule 5 as the Pirates treated Alexander Canario, who was not a Rule 5 pickup, but they treated him like one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I can think of how they treated Alexander Canario in 2025, like he was a Rule 5 pick. Like they had to keep him on the roster,
yeah, it's true.
And they did because he didn't have any options.
Right.
But I'm so confused by that player in particular. From last year, that's the one that just dumbfounds me the most. What they've done with him and how I still don't know what they're going to do.
Right. So, speaking of the outfield, we got a couple more minutes here. You go after Joe Adell or Taylor Ward. Do you go for that? Is that something you're interested in?
I mean, either one of them would help the offense. So if you could get them, sure. I think Taylor Ward doesn't cost all that much because it's last year, right? And
Yes. And Adele has a little bit more of control, maybe just one more year.
So you're not going to give up something big. Joe Adell's got 2 more years, I think, of arbitration. But Joe Adell took a little while to get it going. And finally kind of came along last year. Really, the power seemed to emerge. The thing is with Anaheim or whatever we're calling them now, I guess they're LA now. What are they going to do? What type of team are they going to be? Like, Taylor Ward was supposed to be traded 2 years ago. Like, honestly, like, they were supposed to build around Mike Trout years ago. We know they need pitching. They supposedly know they need pitching. They never go get pitching. They don't do anything they're supposed to do.
I've had a hard time figuring them out for quite a while.
Well, yeah, so like I'm not even like we have pundits that are saying Joe Adell's on the block. I find it really difficult to believe because Taylor Ward was Joe Adell 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're going to make the trade. I think they feel like they can't do it. Like, they need to keep trying for Trout, right? But they're not trying the right way, like in a way that's going to actually work. And he doesn't stay healthy enough to do it himself. But how do you know what the Angels are going to do? Would I take either of them? Yes. I'm more interested in Adell. He would take more too.
Yeah. Yeah. Extra year of control.
Piece.
And overall, it seems like that's the guy. I mean, they've been talking. This guy's been in talks a long time of being, this guy's going to figure it out. This guy never played more than 88 games in the major leagues until last year. He played 130, hit 20 homers. He still only batted 207, 280 on base. This year, that went to 37 home runs, almost double. And the average is still 236 on base, 293. It's not like it's great, but this is his first year where he's had that OPS plus above average. It was at 111. That's very good. So, is
it real?
You just don't know, right? And Taylor Ward, you're looking at him and you're saying he's done this for 5 years or so with the above average. The home runs went up to 36 this year. And you know what I looked at, because I saw this and I said both of them went, Ward went from 25 to 36 home runs, 20 to 37 for the other. And I was like, how many home runs did they hit in Sacramento? Does this really, like, did they just get buffed? They both just hit 2 home runs there. It wasn't like a big deal that they just got all of a sudden a ton of home runs hitting in a minor league park. Now, Taylor Ward had I think 3 home runs in Tampa playing against Tampa. So there's a little bit there too, because those parks were very small this year.
Yeah, I mean,
still,
then you have to look at every Reds player like that and Rockies player and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know. Those guys are in the wheelhouse of people that I'd look for. Taylor Ward makes some sense. You probably would not be giving up anybody that you would. I can't imagine you're giving up anybody that would truly make you cringe. As far as starting prospects go, that's what you're worried about. But it's 1 year. You're not. I'm sorry, you're not even getting like a Termar Johnson type. You're not.
I think that's why I'm leaning. I think that's why I'm leaning Ward here, because I feel like you give up less. You're not committed into it as far as you. I mean, it is only 1 more year. Ward has 1 year. Adele has 2 years. So
But you could get away maybe with like a guy that you are borderline on protecting on the 40 man, like Antoine Kelly, something like that,
Right.
is a guy that you might offer for a Taylor Ward. It's last year. Like, you just have to understand what you're offering and why. And I just don't think he's going to get as much. You're not going to pry like a Mike Burrows away,
No.
like
I'd be so curious to even know what they're going to be asking for. Are they trying to build
well,
up?
Josh, that's the thing. I'd be curious if they're asking at all.
True.
Like, in all sincerity, it's been a couple years they were supposed to trade him.
But if you call and you say, I'm interested in one of those two guys, I would be interested in what they would say. Well, then I need this as a return. And maybe that's why they're not moving them. Maybe because their asking price is so high that they're, you know what I mean? And, okay, well, then I need Brian Reynolds. Like, come on. Like, you're literally, that's one for one. It doesn't help anybody. And
yeah, I mean, if we wanted to get real creative, I could make an argument where you would trade a Brian Reynolds to the Angels for Joe Adell and say a good reliever that you really like out of their bullpen that performed well last year. It would be cost savings for the Pirates, give them more buying power on the free agent market if they were a normal team that actually spent money, and you get more power. You get somebody that you actually feel can field. You lose a switch hitter, you lose somebody that's been a leader and supposed to be a part of your team, but maybe you can backfill other spots because you've done it that way, and you got Adele for another year.
mm-hmm.
Not the end of the world. I could make a scenario up where that makes some sense.
It just feels,
but
it feels so like there's just such a lack. And I'm an outsider, so you know what I'm saying. Like, I get it, but like, I never understand the decisions that the Angels make in any situation. Like, I still can't believe that they didn't trade Ohtani. I can't believe it. That was a money situation, and it just blew me away. It's like, we'd rather make the money than make a good team. They're really so far from being good.
But I think they really felt they had a chance to re-sign him.
Oh, well, okay.
But the only reason I say that is because he really did have a great relationship there. One of their stiffest competitions was LA. So it's not like they were going to lose marketing to they could have offered just about as much where they're from. They didn't, because they're not as smart about it. But he wasn't going to lose out by staying there. And I think that he probably told them that they had a good shot at it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he said that afterwards, that they were in the running the whole time, and they made a competitive offer. So I understand that. And I say this delicately, Josh, because a couple years from now, I'm not going to fully endorse trading Paul Skenes early. I don't care if it's smart for the future or not. They're not going to win without him. I want to win in the years I have with him, and I don't care what happens after.
The Angels weren't going to win with him.
Neither will the Pirates.
Well, and if the Pirates are in that situation, then they absolutely have to move him with 1 year.
I absolutely won't endorse it. We're just different sides of a fence here.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what happens too with CBA and the whole thing. Like, that's gonna make a big difference.
It could change everything.
It could change the whole thing.
But I mean, I'm not gonna. Pirates think they have a chance to make the playoffs, which the Angels at least feel that. They at least feel they have a chance to make the playoffs. They got enough decent pitching, and they have some power. And if they get a rare healthy year from Trout, really, really could do some stuff, right? And they have to think they're at least in a wild card. Houston's going to be down a little bit. Seattle's still good. They can get a wild card. That's got to be their goal. Well, hold on to your players then. Maybe that's the way they think. How often do we say to trade for these lottery tickets? Oh, you have to. And how many times do they do it and then you don't get crap? Really and truly, how often do those boatloads of players just never really pan out?
Yeah, I guess the Pirates haven't had that kind of talent either. But you look at the
Washington
Nationals, the
has.
Nationals being an up and coming team,
Are they though?
largely in part
Are
though.
they though?
Well,
Look
they
at their
certainly
rotation and what's coming.
okay the rotation, but they certainly have Abrams and
You say
Hassel
okay
and
rotation, but look at that rotation and what's coming. They are bankrupt. They do not have it coming, and they do not have it, which means they're in trouble, which means they're going to have to deal some of what they have, which is why these things don't work so often, because you can only build so much. And I just think, like, if I have even the slightest chance of sneaking in and having Paul Skenes win 3 games for me in a playoff series,
yeah.
I'm not trading him.
No, and I think
And there's no way this team, when he's up, is going to feel like they don't have the slightest chance to make the wild card.
True.
Because they think they do now.
True.
So he's not getting traded, I don't think, unless they do it a couple years early, like they did with Musgrove and Cole. And in that case, I think this fan base would be even more furious. Let's just hope for the CBA. It's really easier for everyone.
Yeah. So I was looking back to Mackenzie Gore, Hassel, James Wood. They got CJ Abrams and what's his name in the other deal, and it's like there's just a lot that they were able to acquire for just a few trades. And I just can't imagine what Ohtani could have brought back for that team. And those guys were close too. It wasn't like they were getting lottery tickets. They were getting bona fide guys. Some of them had even made their debut. You know what I mean? Like Abrams, I believe, had already made his debut.
Right.
Yeah, he did with San Diego. So like, I don't know, man. Maybe the fact that they had a chance, that they felt like they had a chance to re-sign him, that would be the one reason. That would be the one reason I would have held on. They're just, I
think your entire thought process comes from a small market mentality.
I think that they stink.
Well, we're trained like this though. We're trained like this to think like gotta trade a guy like that, because to us it makes total sense. I've already forecasted out when the right year to trade O'Neal Cruz is. Sure. And it's next year. Hopefully after he does better this year, right?
Yeah.
If you're not going to sign him long term, that's when you do it next year. I mean, we know this stuff because we've lived this stuff.
Right.
Other markets, especially other markets in LA competing for LA viewership, they don't get to live like that. I mean, you get one more year of Ohtani, that's worth it to you. And you try all year to sign him. That's what they did. They put a full pressure court system on him all year long trying to sign him. Never got done. Turns out they were like 300,000 or 300 million short, which you would think he'd have the kindness to tell them. Right? So,
yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's very confused. They got to get things fixed here, because it's just a problem, right? You got a team like that who can spend a ton of money and it be for absolutely nothing. They're the same team as far as production wise. I think they had one more win than the Pirates. I mean, that's who they are, and they're awful, and they've been awful for a long time, and they have nothing coming. And I just don't understand, maybe like you said, because of what my lenses are used to looking at. but like that's how you build a baseball team. Like
Well, whoever they drafted last year will start for them on opening day.
There's no question.
Like,
There's no question. That's maybe why they don't have a minor league system. They're like, if they're good, we just call them right up.
If we drafted them in the first couple rounds, they're starting day one.
We drafted them as major leaguers.
But see, like, and a lot of people are jealous of that thought process and want to see it done here a little bit more. And I understand that. And we are moving some prospects through a little faster, and that's nice to see. But Joe Adell is a perfect example of a guy that got screwed by this.
Right.
Got brought up too early, learned everything at the major league level, and therefore sacrificed 3 years at the altar of being a bust.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, his trade value was in the tank. It's the only reason he's even there right now to be considered tradable.
Called up at 21 years old.
Yeah, and shouldn't have been. You know, and I think honestly that first baseman they called up, who's got the weird name, I can't remember right now.
Shanuel.
They called him up too early. I think had they waited a year, he probably is in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. They take that off the table for these kids. You know, they don't have a shot because they're not ready.
Yeah.
Just frankly, they're not ready.
Yeah, and you know what? We could say we have a couple guys like that. There's no doubt. We just talked about Peguero and how he still has the ability to become a major leaguer at some point somewhere else. But because he was called up so early, and it was because they really needed somebody and Indy was too far away, and so they just had to pull somebody from Altoona. Jack Swinsky, similar situation, called straight up from AA because they just had to have somebody there. And then it was, I mean, he played 2 years in Pittsburgh before he really even played in AAA, I think, right? Because he was there that rest of that whole year. And then he was sent down in the middle of the next year or whatever, or he was there whatever. Yeah, it was. And he ended up coming back. So it was like, you played 100 major league games before you played any AAA games, which, okay, sometimes happens. But if they're not there, those guys kind of get the raw end of the deal a little bit. But when you're doing it with, those guys weren't Joe Adell.
Right.
When they were in the minor leagues.
But there has been more of a push for it. And, you know, if Major League Baseball gets its way, we're going to lose a whole other level of minor league baseball at some point here. I think their goal is to get down to 3. They only want 1 A level. So if they ever get that, I mean, these promotion decisions are going to start coming faster and faster.
Yeah.
And baseball is trending towards, we're actually missing prime years by delaying their ascension through the minors. We need to stop doing that. They've adjusted the prime years down to the early 20s where they were putting them in the mid to late 20s. They've already moved it down. That's why you're starting to see college guys get bumped, AA, AAA. And part of it is like, if you draft somebody out of college and they can't survive in AA, you screwed up. So why are you wasting your time having them start in Bradenton and spend a year down there?
Imagine.
That's the type of decisions that are getting made, and baseball's forcing them.
Yeah.
This has been going on for a decade. It's just like starting to come to a head now.
Right.
It's cool. It's cool to watch how it's different, right? I mean, like, the things that we used to expect, Josh, like, maybe people can quit being so lazy when they talk about baseball, because it can't all be about expectations and averages and what happened last year carries over. It doesn't.
What would you say that the general consensus is on the prime of a career? If you were to name a 6-year prime,
I'd say it's probably 24 to 30 at this point.
And so like, and what I remember, you know, even not that long ago, was that 26 to 32. Now it seems as soon as somebody hits 30, you're like, throw them in the garbage. And yet nobody really gets to free agency until they're 30. So it's kind of
the best players, as much as we talk about that, the really special players, they kind of transcend some of that stuff. You know, like, we're talking about, like, guys should be like on the way down by the time they're 32. Well, you're a different kind of athlete, you know, at 32 than you were. Like, Sidney Crosby, you don't watch hockey as much as I do, but Sidney Crosby should not be playing hockey the way he's playing right now. But he is a special person. He has dedicated his entire life to it. Like to the point where he won't even like get married until he's done. Because he doesn't want anything to distract from being the best hockey player in the world. Or the best hockey player he can be. He shouldn't be able to do what he's doing at his age. Kutch shouldn't be able to do what he's doing at his age.
Right.
But when you look at a guy like Brian Reynolds and you look at his age and you go, and people in our chat do it to us, Josh. They go, well, he's 32. He's on the way down. You don't know that. You know, like that you think that's what should happen to him, but you don't know that. You don't know that the reason he was slower last year is because his leg hurt him. Or you don't know that the reason his bat speed slowed down so much last year is because his oblique was maybe healthy for about a month. Period. Last year. You know what I mean? So like,
sure.
There's a lot of crap that doesn't get reported that you don't know about, that you're not thinking about. And the age thing, I don't think it's hard and fast at all. Do you?
No.
I think we see those.
As a matter of fact,
look at George Springer this year.
Right. And as a matter of fact, the way that Brian Reynolds is about how well he takes care of his body, he would probably be one of those guys that you would extend that a little bit further because of those things. And so it's just interesting that's where you go for an example. But I've always seen it as you get over 30, sure, you're going to slow down a little bit. You might do a little, but you're also a much smarter player. You know the zone a lot more than you did at 26 when you started just, becoming who you were and whatever. And so like you see a lot of guys who maybe were a more rounded player. Yeah. And you think of even Kutch, but like some of those years for him were injury. He was dealing with injuries. And so like you didn't get to see it as much with him, but over the years, we've seen a lot of guys who get to that like low 30s and all of a sudden they come into some more power.
I'd rather have Kyle Schwarber right now than in his prime years.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
He's just leaned into what he can do. And like, sure, he's not a very complete player, but if he just knows what I do well, and that's what I'm going to lean into, and I understand me more, I understand the game more, so on and so forth. But like some of these guys that, you just remember, I mean, you've seen guys over the years, and I don't know, obviously, how much of this is tainted with this, that, and the other. But like, I remember like Jay Bell was just a hitter. And then all of a sudden we run into a ton of power, right? You know what I mean? As he ages, as he learns the strike zone, as he stops swinging at pitches that he can just bloop into right field and just waits for something that he can drive.
As he went to Arizona before he went to Arizona's back.
Exactly. As he went to Arizona when the ball was flying there. But like it's something that we've seen from a lot of players over the years, and they're able to do something like that because they become smarter players and because they know that they've lost a portion of their game that they can't rely on anymore. And so they lean into strengths, and it's like that is gone. One of the guys that I can think of more recently, and it's really the second time, oddly enough, that I'll bring him up, but Justin Turner, the way that he kind of changed his game and leaned into a certain type of player and had some really, really great years with plenty of guys around him. Sure. Like that's not the point. You know what I mean? But it's just the idea that like he put up some power numbers that I bet, 8 years before he put those up, everybody would be like, no, dude, by the time he's 35, he's going to be out of the game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I just think it's the age is a suggestion that I think affects everybody very differently. Like, and it's also changed with time too. I mean, like I'm almost 50. I don't look anything like what a 45-year-old man was depicted as on TV. Like I remember I was watching reruns of Barney Miller with my dad like the other day, and I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe like this guy is not somebody that's like near retirement. This guy is playing someone that's 41 years old, and he's got gray hair and he's balding and he looks like he's on death's door. This was 25 years ago, 30 years ago, like people have changed. Things have changed. People have learned how to maintain their bodies longer. If they want to be dedicated to it, they can do it. That still doesn't mean we should go out there and act like it doesn't matter, Josh. I mean, like, we shouldn't be excited they're signing 38-year-olds and whatnot.
Right.
It's not the norm if they're good athletes still, right?
Right. Absolutely. And OG said here, I shared it a little bit ago too. I thought it was a good point here. The quality of development at the amateur level might be the best it's ever been too. And just like, you could say that in so many different ways, but like, you know, as much as maybe NIL has ruined, as you saw, the new Giants manager has been speaking out about that a little bit, and just saying like, man, the college game is done. You know what I mean? It's just done. But there is a lot of different, like the development there is different, and these guys are coming up, and I don't know if like high school, maybe some of that is actually detrimental. Some of what we see, like these high school guys that are ready, maybe ready too early in a way, but like it is as much as it's there for older players, it's there for younger players. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of this even shift younger too, just to, you know, full circle in the conversation too. So it's, I don't know. And it's crazy.
It is. I mean, I think in general, baseball has been prohibitive to the low end on the age spectrum. Like there was a certain age they wanted to lock out. I don't feel like that's the case anymore. I feel like now, if you're 19 or 20 and they think you can play, you're going to play. And they're not going to put in the artificial roadblocks. That's probably the biggest change I think that's come.
Mm-hmm.
I think a couple years ago, we're probably not even having a real discussion about Connor Griffin.
Yeah.
Truthfully flying through like that. You know, who was the last one that you can think of, really? Juan Soto?
Juan Soto, there was another one recently, more recent than that. And it's totally leaving me. Help us out here.
There's few and far between.
Yeah.
Is the point. So when the teenagers that can actually crack through, it's cool that they're actually allowed to now, I guess is the best way to put it. And I think a lot of that is just because execs have realized they're wasting talent by not bringing it up. It may not be completely developed, but how long have we been saying development doesn't end at the majors, right?
Right.
So you just don't want to take it too far. Like I feel like the Angels do. And we'll see. Be open-minded, I guess. Be open-minded on the other end too. Don't just automatically assume a 33-year-old's going to be worse than he was the year before. Churio, yeah.
I think he was 20, but I'm pretty sure he was signed when he was 19. Yuri Perez is another one too. The pitcher Yuri Perez with the Marlins a couple of years ago was 19 when he made his debut too.
Truth.
So yeah, I mean it's not hey, he's 19, we certainly can't call him up. It's not that anymore.
Right.
So
well, this was good, man.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks again for coming on. I lost what I was going to say just now, so that's always good. This is what happens when I'm like focused on reading the chat so much and just thinking about how Miles and Greg don't know how to spell Churio.
Well, sorry, they were spelling it like the delicious treat.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it's probably autocorrect. It's probably really what it is. They spelled it right and they got autocorrected.
Yes. They're having cinnamon sugar dreams, and we're talking about a baseball player. But yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming on, chat. Thanks everybody for joining us on an earlier show than normal. Thanks for being on time for that. As I can see, everybody that was in the chat was certainly knew we were coming on early and everything. That's jokes, but appreciate it. We'll hopefully it's not too long before we can get together again and do this again.
Absolutely, man. We'll definitely do it. Go Steelers, go Penguins, go Pirates.
We got it all.
Good stuff.
All right, guys. Thanks. Let's go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks!